Peace, Ed. First in. Frank Matthews, what's happening, bro? You still over in Mex? Salute, Brody. You still out the country, right? Laid back Pete. I see you. Appreciate you. Rocking with us. We popping, son. You know, I'm the mind plug. What? I see that. I hear that. I hear that, Frank. How is it over there? Since that fat fuck been up there messing with all the Mexican brothers and sisters. Mad Too Real, thanks for tapping in. What's going on, Trey Oxendine? What's happening with you, man? Welcome to We Poppin', son. You said you have a trade maker for me and my son? Waiting on the name? Oh, you gotta bring me up to speed on what a trade maker is. And so Mexico is separating. The poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer. Oh, trademark. Okay. Or you gotta tap in with me offline and tell me about what it is you got in mind. And I tried to call Ty about 15 minutes ago, but he didn't answer, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. He is tied up or something. Let me see if I can bring him in. Welcome to We Poppin', son. Last laugher, absolutely. You know, that's my big thing right there. You know, the last laugher thing is very, very personal for me, man. Very, very personal for me. So Trey Oxendine said 21 murders in New Orleans in 90 days. New Orleans wilding right now. What they got some kind of group beef going on down there? Usually when there's that many murders, it's two groups going back and forth. That's what's happening down in New Orleans, Trey? I hadn't heard anything about it. LFX Media 7, thanks for tapping into We Poppin', son. Oh, there go Ty right there. What's going on, Mini Bob? What's happening with you? Absolutely. Yeah. You saw that promo piece for the Beyond Street Dreams? Beyond Street Dreams, what you call it? Promo? That Beyond Street Dreams promo gonna be dope. What's going on, son? What's happening with you? Can you hear me? Yeah, I hear you. I can hear your mic doing that.
Yeah, I had to plug it in. It wasn't plugged in. That's why.
Okay, I hear you. White Flame V 2.1. What's good with you? Peace. A mother lost 3 sons within 1 week. Man, she's in hell. She is in hell. HD144 ever. Thanks for tapping the We Poppin', son. I'm Pop. That's my son. You understand me? And you know, I looked to see when we started this. And it was like February 24th or something like that. I think that was the first time that we got on here and we was like, yo, let's start doing this like at 7 o'clock, something like that. And that's when we first started doing it. And yeah, we've been consistent, every Tuesday and every Thursday. We decided that day. And we've been doing every Tuesday and every Thursday ever since that, 7 o'clock, I've been looking at a lot of the old recordings, and there was, I mean, yeah, we were going in.
Yeah.
We was going in. For real, for real. It's good though. And I'm glad we stay consistent with it. And these other opportunities have presented themselves. We gotta do those. We gotta do those drops.
Yeah.
Like ASAP.
I'm not doing. I'll just chill at night, not go out and do nothing because I ain't booked nowhere really. So can you hear me good?
Yeah. I can.
So I'm not booked nowhere tonight. So after this, we could, I guess,
Okay.
get on
Zoom.
Yeah.
Let's try Zoom. Knock them out.
Because other than
Knock
that,
them
I
all
would
out.
voice record. Yo, what up?
Yep.
96.6. This is we.
All right.
And
Right.
bomb and let you do your thing. But us doing it together just kind of saves some editing.
Yep. Exactly. Your signal. I don't know whether it means that my signal is bad or yours is bad when your image starts to pixelate like that. Like it's pixelating right now.
Oh no, I'm not in that good Wi-Fi, and I'm in Buck. I got Buckhead Wi-Fi.
You got Buckhead Wi-Fi?
Buckhead.
Yeah, I'm not moving. It's raining and shit here. What's the weather like down there?
It's I can hear the white people playing golf. I mean playing tennis right here outside.
Oh, okay. So y'all good. It's crazy.
No, it's cold as shit, but they playing tennis. They white.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's definitely
Chill.
Yeah, it's chill like a motherfucker down here. Up here. Wifey just came back from harvesting some collard greens and kale, because they're doing well. They're doing well, man. They the collard greens and stuff like that. They like the cooler weather, as opposed like when it was hot, when it was hitting 90 degrees and 100 degrees and all of that. They were like not feeling that, but they're doing all right. They're doing really well. Like it's flourishing, they blooming like crazy. So yeah, we're gonna have some good greens. It ain't nothing like pulling out the ground, for real, for real. Call it farm to table. Nothing like farm to table, and it's organic, and you know what it is. It's nothing like knowing what you are eating is good, like without a doubt. There's nothing like that. It's nothing like having that degree of control and autonomy over your food.
People don't get the change in food. Like they don't really understand what's happened with the food. Because people be like, I've been eating this since I was 6. And like, bro, when you was 6, it was just meat and burger, water. Now is gluteum maximate, sulfate, follow, gluteus maximus.
That's why the gluteus is so maximus now, because It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Like it's a lot of chicks buying butt, but when I was coming up, the girl who had the fat butt, everybody knew her within like a 10-block radius.
Yeah.
Everybody, because she had the fat butt. 9 out of 10, she had big titties too. So everybody, or if a lot of girls with like hips and butt didn't have, so they had small breasts, but it was rare, so she stood out. Now there's a hell of a lot more girls who have big butts and big breasts and stuff like that way earlier, and we know why. It's because of all the bullshit they put in the food, all of the hormones and steroids and bisphenol A, BPA or BPH. I remember I was telling the sister one day on Peter Street. This was back in like 2014 or 12 or so. And we were in front of Slices. And I don't know how we got into the conversation, but I was able to talk to her about BPH and about how they had changed it from BPA to BPH, but it's the same chemical, and how it was derived from crude. It was the offshoot of plastic production. Well, it's the offshoot of oil production, and as an offshoot, they produce plastic with it, like plastic water bottles. So I think a conversation started from talking about how the water bottle industry came into existence and the sheer ridiculousness of people paying for food. For water. It's like you paying for water. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, they made it illegal to catch water. You can't catch your own water.
In Georgia, I remember that when I think they did that when we had the house on in Marietta off of Hurt Road, which was off of Austell Road, and I remember that back then. I remember like imagine like what kind of a compliant clown do you have to be to allow some random bureaucratic bullshit to stop you from doing something as independent as catching water? If you're catching water, who the fuck knows that? Don't nobody know you catching no fucking water, man. Nobody knows that. Like, imagine you doing that. If you're doing it, that means you see a purpose in it. You see a point to it. And for you to be doing it and then suddenly stop doing it because somebody said, oh, it's a law now, you can't catch rainwater. Fuck you. And fuck them. The fuckers are like, you're not a subject. Ain't no fucking kings here. You're not a subject. The government doesn't rule you, idiot. It works for you. It's supposed to work for you. You employ the government. You employ the people that you vote into office. You employ them. It's ridiculous how stupid people have gotten.
Or want to impose that idea when they talking to cops. I pay your salary. You
Right.
Going to jail, nigga. You might pay my salary, but your ass going to jail tonight. You go extra.
Right. Like, if you're paying my salary, you're paying my salary to enforce the laws that you are supposed to be participatory in voting for. The fact of the matter is, it is not an accident that 56% of the people in this country have a 6th grade reading level or lower. If you want to subjugate people, you want to control people, first thing you need to do is miseducate and undereducate them, firstly. That's the reason why they did not want us, when they had us as prisoners of war and told us that we were transatlantic slaves, that they didn't want us reading. And to the point where they would not only punish and kill us, they would punish and kill their own for educating us and teaching us to read and stuff like that. Because they know that it is very difficult, if not impossible, to subjugate people who are educated. Why do you think that fat, frumpy, orange motherfucker said, I love the uneducated? Out loud. Like what? Why would you love? Who's ever said that? I've never said that. I never felt that, never thought that. What instance can you think of that you would be appreciative of uneducated people? I can't think of one. I can't think of one circumstance under which I'd be like, man, I so much appreciate how uneducated people are.
I owned a bunch of prisons.
That'll definitely keep your beds filled. But outside of that, I can't see any decent, good, moral, ethical human being ever making the statement, I love the uneducated. You know how much of a nut you have to be if you're thinking something like that and you actually say it out loud? You got to be super crazy. That guy is super crazy. If it isn't obvious to people yet, dude is super crazy. Not just a little crazy. He is one of the most publicly crazy people you will ever likely to see. For real. What's really crazy, or crazier, is the fact that so many people, like what, 73% of the farmers voted for this guy. And boy, are they happy with the results. Not. And millions of people actually voted for him, aside from not counting, Elon Musk's interference with the actual results and so forth. He did say out of his own mouth, Elon, it's another nut, absolute fucking nut. If Trump doesn't win, I'm probably going to jail. That's what he said out of his own mouth. I watched it. If Trump doesn't win, I'm probably going to jail. That's not an innocuous statement. That's not a statement about nothing. That's a statement about something. That's a statement that blatantly says, yeah, I did some shit I wasn't supposed to do. And if this guy doesn't come into power to protect me or insulate me from the consequences of what I've done, I'm going to jail. If Kamala Harris becomes the president, she's going to prosecute me along with him. He'll be going to jail. I'll be going to jail. And whomever else we've incorporated into our conspiracy will be going to jail too. You can't talk that way without having a vast majority of the constituents of the voting public being extremely uneducated, misinformed, ignorant, and considerably crazy. This country, in my opinion, has long been an open asylum. It's a mental hospital with no doors or walls, but it's a mental hospital. It's unfortunate that there are so few people who have the intellectual wherewithal, psychological soundness to be able to really see that. So few that many are quiet about it because they realize they're surrounded by a volatile, dangerous, and unstable society. Speaking of which, there was a guy in Richland County here in South Carolina, and he was riding down the street in his community, and he saw a brother jogging who is a resident of the community, stopped his car, and this, I guess, a Ring camera or some kind of camera, like right on him, watches him stop his little Honda or something, and his rifle is leaning against the passenger side front door. And he reaches over. You can see the rifle, windows open. You can see the rifle. He picks the rifle up, stops, looks, picks the rifle up, takes the rifle out, and then you hear the shot, and then you see the puff of smoke, and he goes, Keep running, nigga. Keep running. Better keep running. And then drives off. So when they arrest this retard, he tells them that he didn't know him, even though they live in the same community. He didn't know him, and they hadn't had any previous engagements or conflicts or encounters at all of any kind. Never seen him before in his life. He said he shot at him because he's black, and he said I would have shot him, but I guess maybe he wasn't a good enough shot. But he said this out loud. He thought it was okay to say, it's as though he didn't have significant, like an adequate degree of self-preservation, first of all. You don't even have enough self-preservation to not tell them, yeah, I purposely shot at him because he's black and only because he's black, and my intent was homicidal. I had murderous intent. Like, you're admitting to a hate crime. Richland County, I think earlier this year, they instilled or implemented a hate crime charge in the county. So it's just not like a primary kind of thing. The fact that he discharged a firearm, the fact that he attempted to assault, terroristic threats, those are more so attempted murder. Like, those are more so the heavy charges.
Because he was black.
Say again.
Once he said that because he was black, I wanted to shoot him. That's when they make it a hate crime.
Yes, but that part of it is not the heavy part. It just it's a crime, but it's not the primary arrestable offense. And every other state has these laws, these hate crime laws, except for South Carolina and one other. I can't remember what the other one was. These kinds of people with this level of mentality, which is not much more than an adolescent, like, this is like an 11-year-old, 12-year-old's brain that these people are operating with. You're surrounded by these kinds of people. And they vote, they vote, and they don't vote with intelligence or information or being informed. That's not what they vote with. They don't vote from a position of information and processing. They vote from a position of vindictiveness and misery, and this country has cultivated that and leveraged it. That's your enemy right there. The person that doesn't look like you. The nearest person that doesn't look like you is your enemy. And if I'm your actual enemy, as the corporate greedy oligarchs are of everybody, and I'm able as your enemy to convince you that somebody whom you have proximity to, somebody you can see riding down the street, is your enemy, then you'll never ever pay attention to the fact that I'm your actual enemy. You'll never, regardless of how much I impose upon you from the position I have as a person with access to virtually endless amounts of resources and insider trading and understanding of what's going to happen before it happens, and being able to take advantage of that information and be able to create more wealth and consolidate more power into a smaller group of people's hands whom I'm a part of them. If, regardless of how much I'm doing that, like blatantly and in your face, being your enemy actively, if I can tell you that somebody, so you can access me. So if I can tell you that somebody you can access will give you an opportunity to exercise your frustration, your anger, your ignorance, your hate. If I can do that, then it's simple, it's satisfying. And the fact that you doing dumb shit like shooting at a random black guy because he's black, uh, the ineffectiveness of it won't even matter. The fact that nothing changes for you and actually makes things worse for you won't even matter, because it'll be pacifying a minuscule mind that you have. Now, having this conversation, like talking about something like this in this engagement, where the likelihood of the people we're talking about actually come into contact with this engagement is very unlikely. So we wouldn't be having this conversation for their benefit. We wouldn't be having this conversation so that they could see the folly in their own ways. The point of anything that I bring up, which is by my measure off the beaten path of what your average, and I want to be mindful about this, I don't want to perpetuate stereotypes, but I'm going by what I encounter. I'm going by the niggas I know, have known, have encountered in my moving around, you know, clubs and blocks and neighborhoods and cities and hoods and all types of places. And on average, to be able to have a conversation with someone who looks like us about anything of substance, whether it's sociological or psychological or emotional, political, you know, the things that make up the actual matters in life, it's very rare. It's very rare. So I realize that this level of conversation doesn't penetrate the psyches, thus the interest of our average, you know, our contemporaries. I get that. So the question is, well, why do you talk about this stuff? Because regardless of what they don't know, what I do know is that it is important. What I do know is that you ain't going to be 20 or 30 or even 40 forever. And at some point, the things that you're concerned about at 20, like your fresh outfit and how many holes you can stick your one penis into before you fuck it up for life, or how popular you can get, how much attention you can garner when you walk into a room. Those things will become less and less important. How much you overpaid for some cheap crap that you bought with some, you know, gay European dude's name on it. Those things will matter less and less and less. Now I realize that a lot of cats in their 20s.
European dude wasn't gay. He was bi.
The fuck?
He like
Well,
a little pussy.
Like I said, a little bit, a little pussy. So listen. Yeah, I don't think that makes a difference. I think if any man likes a little penis, he's gay. Like, he's gay. Just the occasional, you know, vagina don't make you not gay. Like, I don't, you know where that whole bi shit came from. But like, the fuck is that? See, again, this is just the kind of thing that is created to just make people nonsensical and non-thinking.